We're standing here in the doorway to the Town Hall Theater office. Many of you have visited us here many times, but I don't think you've ever looked up. What are these instruments here? Well, when we bought the building, there was a dropped ceiling, below it a 1960s bar, but above it, it was still 1884. These were the lights that were over the old stage. It's about circa 1900 theater lighting, very historic. There were rows of them. We decided we had to save a few, and they still work like a charm. Here's something that most of you have seen, especially if you're a woman, because you have to nearly walk over it to get into the ladies' room. This is a well that was discovered during our construction. It's a well over 20 feet deep. It's got 6 feet of water in it. It turns out there was a house on this property, the Epaphras Miller House, built in 1811. We actually have a picture of it. And if you look closely at the picture, you'll see in back a little wooden structure, and that was the well house. And not only was it a house, it was a tavern. So as early as 1811, people met on this spot to enjoy themselves and have a drink, something we're still doing to this day. Kind of an ordinary door. It's just a door to the bathroom that the actors use, but I can't look at this door every day without thinking of a very specific story. When we bought the building, this is where the town vault was, because this was the town offices. The vault had 16-inch thick walls made out of concrete and a huge vault door made by the Mosler Company. It was filled with concrete and it was steel. It weighed tons. Now we knew we could jackhammer the walls, but how were we going to get this door out of the building? It weighed tons. We were afraid of it. We were afraid it was going to kill somebody. It weighed as much as a house. So I called a house mover, kind of a famous local guy, Emile Deshotel, and I came and said, Emile, look at this door. Can you get this out of here? And he said, yup. I said, okay, I got to go away for a little while to do something, but I'll come back and we'll talk about it, how you're going to get your equipment here, how we're going to do it. So I leave for 2 hours. I come back 2 hours later, and the door is outside the building. And to this day, nobody knows how Emile Deshotel got that door out of Town Hall Theater. We're here in the Jackson Gallery with something I don't know if you've ever noticed. We purchased this building from the Knights of Columbus, who owned it from roughly 1968 till the year 2000. And this is the spot where they met every day to have a drink after work and talk over the problems of the world. Well, when I started getting interested in perhaps buying this building, I met with them here, right on this spot. And they didn't know what to make of me, you know, a flatlander. Who was I? I don't think they would have given me the time of day, but I had somebody with me whom they really respected and loved, and that is Peter Langrock. And Peter Langrock said, this guy's okay. Let's talk about buying the building. And so we met here, right here, many, many times, had a lot of drinks, and talked about not only the future of the building, but the future of this idea called Town Hall Theater, and the future of the Knights of Columbus. What was it going to mean to them that they no longer had this home? I look back very, very fondly on that period. It really started right here. And so when we found this little plaque in the building, we thought we should put it here to commemorate that. I walk by it every day, and every day I say a little prayer of thanks to the Knights of Columbus for all they did to make this transition possible. So we're sitting here on our beautiful grand stairway. You've gone up and down it a million times. I don't know if you've ever wondered why, thanks Willie, you've been a great help, you've wondered why there's marble on it, that the treads are made of marble. Interesting story. There used to be a building connected to the Middlebury College Library called the Meredith Wing, and it was covered in marble. And when that was torn down to make way for the new Axon Center, the college called us and said, you got any use for some really beautiful marble? We loved it immediately because it seems to match the Danby marble that we have on the exterior of our building. So we said, sure, we'll take the marble. We weren't sure what to do with it, but we worked it into the stairway. And I like that there's a piece of Middlebury College here. Middlebury College gave us the first big grant that set this project on its way. John McCardle had a lot to do with that. And they gave us the final grant that put us over the top and allowed us to actually complete this building. So we're indebted to them. Every day I go up these steps and I think about the contribution that Middlebury College made to this project. You've probably noticed the beautiful Hubbardton Forge light fixtures that are throughout the building. It's an interesting story. We had a design team and we decided we wanted Hubbardton Forge fixtures, but we didn't have a catalog. Who would have a catalog? Well, Drew Herman down at Woodware had a catalog. So we all went down there, looked through this beautiful catalog, selected the beautiful fixtures you see here. Drew Herman was looking over our shoulder and making comments, and he loved that whole process. So we get to the end, we select all of these very expensive fixtures, and he says, those are going to look great in your building, I'll pay for them. Little known fact that Drew Herman and Woodware were the contributors of all of these beautiful light fixtures you see in this building. Of course, it was the kind of project where you would put names on things that people would underwrite. So all of our chairs have names of people who bought those chairs. All of the windows, people paid quite a lot of money to restore those windows. You can walk around and look at the plaques on doors. I like to say I would sell you a toilet right now if you wanted one and put your name on it. But my favorite plaque in the place is right here, right on stage right. I'm sure you haven't noticed it, and it's in memory of Zeppel, Casper, Maxie, and Mindy. These are Helen Reef's cats. There are many stories related to our bell tower, and I'm going to tell you just 3 right now very quickly. The first, of course, is the fact that the bell, the Great Bell of Middlebury, was taken out of the tower when Sam Emilo purchased the building somewhere around 1960. He thought, well, I can sell this for scrap, it's not needed by the town anymore, and it was whisked off to Rutland, where people from the community found out the bell was gone, went rushing after it, and founded the bell in the Mincer Brothers lot, negotiated with Sam Emilo to buy it back. Some say the purchase price was $300, some say the purchase price was $600. They didn't have that money, they ran back to the town to raise the money to buy back the bell. I'm told that some of them ran into restaurants going, $1 for the bell, $1 for the bell, to raise that money. They raised the money, bought it back from Sam Emilo, and brought it back to town, where it sat on the grounds of the Sheldon Museum for many years. And then when we rebought the building and restored it, the Sheldon graciously thought that it should go back where it belongs, back in our tower. So the first thing is, how many bells are put into a tower twice? So we did that, we had a big ceremony, Jim Jeffers was here, and sure enough, we got the bell back into the tower, and now we ring it before every show. But there's a couple other things up there that you might not have noticed. There's a beautiful copper crest along the building. It was in all the original photographs and fell off or was taken down much later than that. I really wanted to do it. It serves no practical future purpose other than to be beautiful. But we just didn't have the money to do it, and we were putting the slate roof on, which we had to do. And I was standing out here just lamenting the fact that if we didn't do it now, we were never going to do it. And who came by but John Ewan? And he says, what's up? I said, well, here's the story. We're happy we're getting our roof, but I don't think we're ever going to get our copper cresting. And I described it to him, and he said, no, that's important. We'll pay for that. And sure enough, John and Nancy Ewan paid for that beautiful copper cresting. I think you can see from here, part of it sticks out right at the top of the building there. That has their name engraved on it. And I have a lovely photograph of both of them holding this stuff, and they made it all possible. Of course, the crowning glory of the tower and of the entire building is our weather vane. It was not on the building when we bought it. And we only had one very, very fuzzy photograph that told us what it looked like. But we used that photograph to recreate it. It's a stunning thing. It's 18 feet tall, and it was underwritten by Will and Carolyn Jackson. The interesting story is that when it was finished, there was all kinds of scaffolding, fairly rickety it seemed to me, going up there, but Will and I were determined to go up there all the way and to stand by that thing. From up there you can see the entire county, but we risked our lives to get up there. But there's a photograph I really cherish of me and Will Jackson standing on top of the world next to that weather vane. So I'm sitting here in our side garden, which is this great amenity. I mean, the actors love it. We sit out here and do work all the time. This is underwritten by Peggy Keith. And is the great work of Joan Lynch, who many of you know. But there's something in this garden you probably have never noticed. It is a plaque to Bruce Baker and Peggy Keith, because they were the head of the capital campaign. They were directors of the capital campaign at the very, very end, when we had that big push that put us over the top. And we're forever indebted to them. So I wanted to put in some sort of plaque for them. But this one has a very cryptic phrase on it. When we were trying to raise money for this project, we had endless dinner parties and endless meetings, and we talked to anybody who would talk to us, and we always had to bring food, because that's how you get people to talk to you. You feed them. And so everybody was cooking food all the time, and Bruce Baker made the best crab cakes that anybody's ever eaten. And he would bring them to all of these events, and I remember saying, Bruce, I don't think we could finish this without your crab cakes. And he looked at me and said, Doug, We're building this building one crab cake at a time. And that's why, if you look at this plaque, it says, and I want history to remember this, campaign co-chairs 2006 to 2008, Peggy Keith, Bruce Baker, one crab cake at a time.